Welcome to the Explainer. Today we're doing something a little bit different. We are completely throwing out the textbooks, and we're skipping all those dry classroom theories. Instead, what we've got for you today is a pure, hyper-focused masterclass distilled straight from the streets of Atlanta, which happens to be one of America's wealthiest cities. We're going to unpack the raw, unfiltered wisdom of elite entrepreneurs, millionaires, and even a multi-billionaire to figure out exactly how they built their empires. Because it's the ultimate question, right? How do you actually build generational wealth? To find the answer, we didn't go digging through academic papers. No, we looked at real conversations with the people who actually did it. We're talking about individuals who started with absolutely nothing, faced just an immense amount of doubt, and still managed to reach the absolute pinnacle of financial success. And just to wrap our heads around the massive scale of the credibility we're unpacking today, I want you to consider this number. $350 billion. That's billion with a B. That is the current estimated value of Home Depot, the empire co-founded by Arthur Blank, who we'll be analyzing today. And right alongside him, we've got insights from Jesse Itzler, a serial entrepreneur whose private jet company generated over $5 billion in sales. We are literally analyzing the mindsets of titans here. Okay, so here is our syllabus for today's Explainer. First, mindset and resilience. Second, smart business tactics. Third, the power of proximity. Fourth, health, spirit, and values. And finally, we are going to reveal the billion-dollar secret. Let's dive right in with Section 1, Mindset and Resilience, the reality of failure. If there is a single foundational trait shared by literally every wealthy individual we looked at, it is an exceptional, almost unnatural relationship with failure and extreme stress. Take Jesse Itzler, for example. Before he became a millionaire at the young age of 26 and eventually sold multiple companies, including one to Warren Buffett, by the way, his journey was just utterly chaotic. Picture this. He's 23 years old, sleeping on a buddy's couch, making barely $16,000 a year. He tried selling chicken and shrimp door to door. It failed. He started a t-shirt business. Failed. He launched a record label that completely went bankrupt. But he never quit. Why? Well, because his father taught him this intense, crazy lesson in resilience. From the time Jesse was 6 years old, his dad would play checkers with him and never let him win. Zero mercy. Jesse didn't beat his dad at checkers until he was 55 years old. And that taught him how to handle disappointment and realize that absolutely nothing in business is just going to be handed to you. You hear that exact same kind of resilience echoed brilliantly by Joy, an incredibly successful attorney turned entrepreneur. She points out that full-time entrepreneurship is a bear. It's this heavy monkey of stress you have to wear around your neck every single day. She had to bet on herself, even when her own mother, who she actually affectionately calls her biggest dream killer, just couldn't see the vision. Her mom questioned why she would ever leave a safe, secure law career. But as Joy perfectly captures, entrepreneurship is simply a game of getting knocked down and forcing yourself back up. If you stay down, you lose, period. Moving right along to Section 2. Smart business tactics, execution over theory. So we're shifting gears now from how these founders think to exactly how they operate out in the real world. This beautifully illustrates the massive gap between the classroom and the pavement. When a really successful Atlanta real estate mogul, a guy who scaled his business to over $10 million a year, was asked what they don't teach you in school, he was super clear. Academic theory gives you the structured X's and O's, sure, but street knowledge, that is all about cultivating real relationships and relying on instinct. He emphasized the sheer importance of trusting your gut. If a deal feels like bad news, you have to be willing to just walk away, because as you put it, all money ain't good money. Sometimes a check that looks fantastic on paper is going to be a massive detriment to your business in the long run. So how do you actually execute this safely? Well, Joy provides this flawless methodology. We can call it the Bootstrapping Blueprint. You do not need a mountain of cash to start. First, you get proof of concept. Can you sell your product or service to a complete stranger? Once you prove someone out there actually wants what you have, then you secure funding. And finally, you 10x what is already working. But our biggest warning here, run your brand new side hustle like it's Walmart from day one. Seriously, no personal cash apps, set up your proper corporate structure, get your LLC, open a real business bank account, and make your branding look like a legitimate corporate entity from the very beginning.
Which brings us to Section 3, the power of proximity, rooms over resumes.
This right here might just be the most powerful secret weapon of the wealthy. Being in the right room accelerates your success far faster than raw talent ever could. But what's really interesting is the profound humility it requires. The real estate mogul advises that to build credibility when you have literally none, You must figure out how to get into the rooms where successful people operate. And once you're finally in there, don't try to be the loudest voice. Be quiet. Be a sponge. Watch their mannerisms and learn exactly how they move. He even explicitly advised picking up hobbies like golf solely because it gives you physical access to the rooms where those high-level conversations are happening. And the crazy thing is, you can manufacture your own proximity. Jesse Itzler is living proof of this. When he was 21 years old and completely broke, sleeping on that couch, he would go to the Beverly Hills Hotel every single day for lunch. He realized you didn't need a room key just to sit in the restaurant, so he made that luxury lobby his office, just to absorb the aura of moguls, actors, and CEOs. He'd strike up small talk to build his network from absolute scratch. He'd deliberately put himself right in the pathway of wealth. Let's pivot a bit to Section 4, Health, Spirit, and Values, the real bottom line. We absolutely need to address a massive blind spot for a lot of young hustlers out there. The incredibly dangerous habit of sacrificing your own well-being for the dollar. This math equation from Jesse Itzler is just profound. $1 billion times 0 spirit equals 0. We over-index so much on the financial side of business, and we completely neglect the spiritual side. The adventures, the childhood friendships, just treating customers right. And practically speaking, as Jesse points out, if you have $1 billion, but you have a sore throat, the only thing you're thinking about is your sore throat. Without your health, you literally cannot enjoy a single dollar of your wealth. Joy completely agrees with this, and she brilliantly connects your physical health to your professional presence. I love this. Because you are the face of your brand, self-care isn't some luxury, it is a fundamental business requirement. If you are burned out, if you're stressed and you're neglecting yourself, the market is going to see it right away. Investing in yourself is just as important as investing in your inventory. And that leads us to our final act, Section 5, the $1 billion secret. Insights from Arthur Blank. Let's look at a man who grew up in a tiny one-bedroom apartment where his parents actually had to sleep on a pull-out sofa in the foyer. At 36 years old, he was fired from his job, but from that extreme low point, he went on to co-found Home Depot and eventually buy the Atlanta Falcons. But it wasn't a smooth ride, not at all. Just consider the massive wall of skepticism Arthur faced when he opened the first Home Depot stores. Critics literally said, "These guys are nuts. There's way too much inventory, the prices are too low, they can't do enough volume, they are absolutely going to go broke." So how did he push past all that noise? By possessing the true humility to ignore the so-called experts and relentlessly listen to the customer. He didn't force his arguments on the market, he just responded to what the people actually wanted, making the customer his absolute ultimate priority. So, the crucial point here is this incredible paradigm shift. When Arthur was asked at what age he actually became a billionaire, his answer was stunning. He didn't know. He literally didn't know, because the money was never the primary goal. He just followed the advice of his mother. Do the right things for the right reasons and live with the consequences. The billions, they were simply a byproduct of his commitment to his values, his behavior, his resilience, and his focus on humanity. And that beautifully summarizes the ultimate lesson of this entire masterclass. The highest currency in any industry isn't capital, it's genuine human connection. Whether you're dealing with your associates, your employees, or your customers, establishing a deep, deep level of trust is the master key. Because when people trust you, they open their hearts, their minds, and yes, eventually their wallets. Well, we've seen the blueprint. We've seen that it takes wrestling the bear of stress, ignoring the dream killers, and figuring out how to place yourself in the rooms where greatness happens. The real estate mogul we analyzed left us with one final urgent piece of advice. Take a risk. Jump off the porch. You have been given the street wisdom of billionaires today. So the only question left is, what are you going to do with it? Thanks so much for joining me on this explainer. I really hope this masterclass sparked something powerful for you. See you next time.